It's Fantasy Victory now, and we're turning our attention right away to running backs. In Denver, Ronnie Hillman out for 2 to 3 weeks. Monty Ball looks like he's coming back. So what do we do with the Denver backfield?
Yeah, and then add in C.J. Anderson just to make things extra complicated, right? And, you know, this feels like it's going to devolve into another hot hand running back by committee approach, and we'll find out if C.J. Anderson can win this job. Does Monty Ball come back with renewed vengeance after saying that he belonged on the bench? Which nobody ever does that. So I think we get a couple of weeks without Hillman to see if somebody can pop up and emerge. And if that guy emerges, I think he'll hold that job. But, you know, Hillman looked good enough, not great, a couple of good games, a couple of bad games. He looked good enough that if neither Anderson nor Ball materialized, then it could go back to Hillman. So the point is, this thing's super ugly. And I don't know that you want to bet on any one of those three guys, and there's a chance that none of them do a lot. The only reason we're even talking about this backfield is because it's Denver's backfield, and there's so many points to potentially be had. But, you know, what we saw Monty Ball didn't look that good early on, but he didn't get very good blocking either. And so, this thing, it's super frustrating. If I had to bet on one guy coming out of this that you'd want to own the rest of the year, including these 2-3 games that Hillman's going to miss, I'm leaning tentatively towards C.J. Anderson, but we're almost in coin flip territory, and frankly, if you can avoid the whole mess, that's probably the best answer.
Because, of course, Jawan Thompson will end up getting, the goal line work.
Wouldn't surprise me.
In San Diego, Ryan Mathews, he's finally coming back from his perennial stint on the injured list.
Yes.
Does he go back to being an every-week starter now?
Absolutely he does. This is a very good offense that needs to have a functional running back, and we've seen him look really good. Mathews had a great second half of last year. He only played one full game this year before getting hurt, and in that game he scored a touchdown. Offensive line is a little battered, but actually in a little better shape than it had been. But maybe most importantly, there's just nobody else there. You know, Brandon Oliver came back to earth badly over the past couple of games and didn't even hit 40 rushing yards in either of the last two games that they had. And Donald Brown, awful, 2 yards per carry. So he's no threat. So Ryan Mathews goes back to being the lead dog in this thing, and I think Brandon Oliver just turns into a role player and at best ends up filling the Danny Woodhead role.
An incredibly productive back before he went down. Rashad Jennings finally returning to the Giants. Does he go back to being an every-week starter?
He does go back to being an every-week starter. And, you know, Jennings, it could have gotten messy if Andre Williams had done anything with the opportunity given to him to run as the workhorse back for a month. But he was awful, so bad that the team started giving a lot of timeshare to Peyton Hillis. Gross. So, Andre Williams is no threat. And he only averaged about 3.4 yards per carry. Here comes a much better opportunity with Rashad Jennings averaging 4.4 yards per carry, and we'll take that every time. So, yeah, this thing goes right back to being Rashad Jennings, and a lot of them probably beginning this week. Although, tough matchup this week for Jennings, but don't panic. The rest of the schedule is a lot easier. They get San Francisco this week.
All right, out of Tom Brady's shadow and now in Houston, Ryan Mallett set for his first start. He's got a lot of weapons. Is there reason to believe he'll be better than Ryan Fitzpatrick?
I'm nervous. I'm really nervous about Ryan Mallett. And, you know, the team that knew him best, the team that spent 2 years seeing him every day, every practice, wanted to get rid of Ryan Mallett. The Patriots had him for 2 full seasons, and then they spent a second-round draft pick on the quarterback position because clearly they felt that Ryan Mallett wasn't going to be somebody that they were going to be able to groom into the heir apparent behind Tom Brady. And clearly, he was dramatically worse than the other quarterbacks they had on roster, so they traded him away. So I think there's a reason for concern here. Now, also we should mention, he might be the least mobile quarterback in the league, even though he's like 3 years in. He's incredibly bad that way, too. Now, he does have a very big arm. He's got a very slow delivery. He working in his favor, though. He does know this offense from his time with Bill O'Brien in the past. I think this was a move done more about them not loving Ryan Fitzpatrick than feeling like Ryan Mallett is necessarily the guy. And I'm nervous. It's his first couple of starts. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for skepticism here, I'm afraid.
More than anyone, he's hoping for a healthy Arian Foster this week, probably.
Yeah, he really is.
All right, a lot of questions there with some new faces and familiar faces at running back, and Ryan Mallett getting his first start. Quarterback rankings and running back rankings all at fantasyvictory.com.